Yeah. What did I say in the beginning? I wasn't sure about the confidence. I wasn't sure whether or not I was right for saying the confidence was lost. I was right. I was afraid of that. And you can tell. This isn't anything to do with Zach Wilson. He played awful. The entire team played awful. There was no confidence. None. And, every time it looked like they made a move, a positive, penalty. Every time. They get Chris Treveler in. They're moving. Corey Davis drops the ball. We get the ball back. One last chance. We're moving. Fumble. It's contagious. It's contagious. What's important? Because it's obvious that with the 11 days, we'll see Mike White, which is fine. I think that's fine. That it's over pretty much. I think the only way that they have a chance now would be they probably need Green Bay to beat the Dolphins. That would be real important. That'll give them a shot. But if that doesn't happen, then it's who knows? I'm not even going to think about it. Fact is they've lost their confidence. I think it's good that they're going away for the final two games because I know how it is, and I've been watching this team play for 40 years, and I know what happens when you play at home. When the Jets play at home, and they lack confidence, it's an avalanche, and the crowd doesn't help. Sorry, you guys just don't help. The booing early in the game does not help them. That's the sad part is you guys as fans that go to the game, and I know you spend the money, and you should do what you want to do. But how on earth do you think booing the team when they're trying to win a game to get them into the playoffs is something that's a positive? I don't get it. I honestly do not get why you would put more pressure on the team by booing. I just don't get it. Because that's not good for them. That doesn't show. Hey, we believe in you. That's okay, man. We believe in you. No, what it says is we don't believe in you. Oh, you don't believe in us? Yeah, okay. I guess we don't believe in ourselves. They can say they do. It's all talk. Fact is, they don't believe in themselves right now, and they get no help from the fans. So this was, predictable. I said it on the show yesterday with Mark Lawrence. That's why I picked the Jags to win the game as one of my top picks of the week. I felt that this was a definite possibility of we were going to see this because I've seen it a lot over the years. And I know somebody said you probably shouldn't have criticized Greg Zuerlein last week for missing a 58-yarder. And whether that's the case or not, keep in mind, in my opinion, the field goal kicker is an extension of the team. If the team is confident, so is the field goal kicker. The team is, I don't know, I don't think, I don't think, I don't know, I don't think. That's what happens to the field goal kicker. Why do you think the kick was so bad? There was no confidence in that stroke. It was an extension of the team. There was no confidence that we were going to make this. We're not going to win this game. We're not going to pull this out. That's how this team feels right now. They have no confidence whatsoever. None. And I'm glad Zach didn't play at the end of this game because you get an opportunity to see when he came out of the game, the rest of the team still sucked. The only guy that was actually trying to make plays was Treveler. That's it. And don't hand me anything about Chris Treveler being Chris Treveler. There's no way Saleh is going to ruin the integrity of this football team by starting Chris Treveler against Seattle. It's just not going to happen. Okay, you start Mike White. And I'd rather even see Flacco in there than Chris Treveler. Chris Treveler is giving up on the season. Chris Treveler is basically saying that our offense sucks and we can't do anything. And I'm telling you, LaFleur, what is he doing? Isn't it so obvious? And I said this too to one of the comments, one of the fans. Isn't it to take Doug Peterson and LaFleur and switch them and tell me that Trevor Lawrence is going to be playing like the way Trevor Lawrence and the Jags are playing right now, and tell me the Jets are going to be playing the way they are playing. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Because Doug Peterson has been around the league a long time. He is a Super Bowl winning offensive coach. He knows how to win. LaFleur doesn't. See, LaFleur and Saleh and Zach and all the guys are all learning on the job. And when you all learn on the job, you can't look at somebody for help. There is nobody to look for help. You're all in this together. You're all a bunch of guys that have never been in this spot before. Saleh can go there on the podium and say, "Hey, we're a young team. We're learning." He's a young coach. He's learning. Look what happened in the game last week at the end of the game with the timeout situation. He's learning. They're all learning, and that's not a good thing for the players necessarily. And this is why they must go out in the offseason and find a quarterback guru to be quarterback coach. Knapp was supposed to be that guy, and it was forgotten. We forgot about it. We talked about it at the time. This is not good for Zach. This is going to be an issue. And then we forgot about it. Let's not forget about it anymore. Calabrese is 15 years younger than me. Calabrese should not be our quarterback coach. Our quarterback coach needs to be somebody that has a tremendous amount of experience and good experience, winning experience. That is the number one job as far as coaching. Because I doubt, seriously, Saleh's going to do anything with LaFleur. They're just too tied personally. I just doubt it. The only way I think that happens, he'd have to have some sort of connection with some other guy that has so much experience, so much winning experience. You just can't turn it down. You go, look, we're close together. I don't want to ruin that relationship. We're always going to be great together. We're always going to be friends, but I've got to find someone with more experience. So I don't know. But if they don't find a new offensive coordinator, they better go out and get themselves a legitimate quarterback coach. They need experience in that room for those quarterbacks. Right now, they don't have it. And now you're seeing the difference. Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence, LaFleur, Wilson. No comparison. None. And then to try to have the rest of the team to have the backs of the inexperienced coach and quarterback, what do? 5-yard penalty here. 5-yard penalty there. Holding penalty there. Drop pass there. Fumble there. It was disgusting. And it's all around the team. And by the way, remember the whole thing about, it's so important to have C.J. Mosley he's just a leader of that defense. And there's only so much, and by the way, that's why you got a pay cut, basically. There's only so much a leader of the defense can do for you when you're not making plays. And C.J. Mosley hasn't made a significant play, not one, since the Buffalo game in his first game as a Jet. He hasn't made one significant play. No impact plays. 0. And in the middle of that defense, that's unacceptable. And I know Saleh will bat for him 100%, but I sure hope Greg Douglas, when it comes down to with the contracts and everything, he's going to sit Saleh in that room and he's going to go, sorry, it's just, I'm going to have to override you on this one. We need somebody that can make plays. Whether that means I got to go and bring in someone. I was hoping they were going to make the deal for Roquan Smith, and I know why they didn't do it, because they got C.J. Mosley. That would have been a perfect addition to this team. But maybe that's what we'll do next year in the draft, because that's what we're going to start talking about pretty soon, what this team needs to do to be better. And that's definitely a part. They need an upgrade. They need either a hybrid safety linebacker type right there in the middle of that defense, or they need to tell C.J. Mosley to leave and bring someone else in. And I know his leadership is going to be missed, and I completely get that, 100%. I get it. But when you're not making plays and you're making the type of money he's making, he is a big part of the reason why this defense doesn't create turnovers. They're not getting anything from the middle of that. That's where you get the turnovers. See, Quinnen could do all he can. He's up front. Who's behind him making those plays? Nobody. And we don't have any of those safeties either. From the safety to the linebacker spot, we have nothing as far as guys capable of creating turnovers, creating a mess in the backfield, the opposing backfield. That's an issue. That's part of the big reason why we don't get these turnovers. 4 straight games now with no turnovers. 4 straight. And I have no idea what coach said, obviously, because I haven't looked at the press conference yet. But, man, I hope he does a good job of backing Zach. Not because Zach played well, but backing Zach and making everybody understand that this was a disgusting team loss. That you do, and you know what? That's why, in one way, I was so happy to see Zach off the field, to prove to prove to his team, to prove to the fans that same thing happened, same stuff happened, same crap happened. Didn't matter who the quarterback was. But you know what? Might be a good time to look around your best friend there at offensive coordinator and make a move as well, because that's just not working out. He's not improving. Nothing. He's not getting better. And as a coach, you should be getting better. I mean, it's a big difference. You're the adult in the room. These are kids. These guys are 10 years younger than you, most of them. You're the one that's supposed to be the leader of this offense. You're the one who's supposed to be the guy that's supposed to figure these things out. Come up with a game plan that the opposition hasn't seen before. Wow, we haven't seen 5 wide. Wow, we haven't seen this play or that play. Wow, look at the way that they got the mismatch on the linebacker. Wow, look at the way that they opened up this guy to a wide open, seam, in the clearing, and they didn't expect anything like that. They weren't prepared for anything like that. It's like we do the same thing over and over again. The opposition knows what we're doing. And I think that is a big reason why our guys can't get open. Because seriously, are you trying to sit here and tell me that Zach Wilson is not seeing guys wide open? Guys aren't wide open. Guys are not getting open. And that can't be because these guys don't know how to get open. I refuse to believe that. They've gotten open before in the past. So why can't they get open now? That's because they're not being coached well enough. And I think when you have got to go down to Chris Streveler, when you have to go down to gimmicks in order to move the football, okay, that's like Greg Roman led offense. That's a gimmicky led offense. Greg Roman is the most overrated coordinator in the league because the only thing he knows how to do is run an offense with a Colin Kaepernick or a Lamar Jackson. That's all he can do. If he doesn't have a guy like that, dynamic weapon in the backfield like that, he can't do anything. His offense does nothing. But that's what that was like. That's like a Greg Roman offense, Chris Streveler. And that's not what we're doing here. So I'm not going to applaud the offense because Chris Streveler's running around out there and the defense wasn't prepared for him. Yeah, very nice. Really smart game planning there by us. That would have been the case. He should have started then. That would have been interesting. That would have been dynamic. That would have been creative. Hey, look what they've done. They've surprised everybody. Chris Streveler was the starter. But no. That's not the reason. So, yeah, we need a new offensive coordinator. Is becoming increasingly something that I'm thinking about myself, especially even just in these last 15 minutes talking. The more and more I think about it and talk about it, the more I realize I think we need a new offensive coordinator. I just don't know if LaFleur is going to have it in him to get rid of LaFleur. I just don't know. But something has to change. Somebody has got to get in there. They have too much invested in Zach Wilson to just allow LaFleur and no one else and Calabrese to come back again the entire offseason and work on Zach. They cannot allow that. Someone else has got to get in that building and work with him. And work on this offense, if possible. If possible. But I'll take a quarterback coach, worst case scenario, if he's going to stick with LaFleur till death do him part. If that's the case, then you've got to get a quarterback coach. But if there's any hope that we can get in a new offensive coordinator that knows what he's doing, I'm all for that. I prefer that, actually. But we'll see. Well, unfortunately, I didn't get the game, or I didn't get we didn't get what we wanted. yeah, we knocked down one barrier. We're playing December football when it counts. And these guys, a lot of these young players that are going to be here in the long run, they've got some experience, and that's going to be good. We're not happy about it now. We'll talk about it in the offseason. We'll look back and we'll say, hey, we accomplished something. But I tell you what, you better win that game at Seattle, because if you don't win that game at Seattle, you are not beating the Dolphins. And that means you're going to go into the offseason on a long losing streak, and that's not going to be pretty. So I expect Mike White to be back. I'm happy to see Mike White back, because somebody has got to do something. That's what you always do. That's what football's about. That's why backup quarterbacks, good ones, are good to have. You need a jolt. You need somebody to come in there and do something when no one else is, because it can give the rest of the guys a little bit more confidence, especially young guys. And they need all the confidence they can get. So we'll see. Hey, this locker room better stick together. That's another important part. They've never been in this losing kind of, before, as a winning type of team, which we were just a couple of weeks ago. So we'll see how they handle themselves. I expect that they'll handle themselves pretty well, but we'll see. I think it's important they do handle themselves correctly, because I did not agree necessarily with the Mike White t-shirts and stuff. I didn't say anything because I just, whatever. I mean, I don't think they meant anything myself. That's, as a knock to Zach. But I just think that was more than likely inappropriate, but whatever. I'm not going to. But those are the little things that you cannot let fester in the locker room. Okay, especially if Joe Douglas and Saleh believe Zach is the future of this franchise. Because if that's the case, then that's not really. I mean, maybe it was positive because at the time they had just gotten to, hey man, we're now 7-4. We're riding high. Let them think what they want. Don't look so good at this point now. So, because don't matter if Flacco's the quarterback or Strevel is the quarterback or Zach's the quarterback or White's the quarterback. This team is not playing well. And we'll see how it goes in Seattle. We'll get back to a Sunday reaction video. No more butterflies for me. Butterflies are totally going to be gone, that's for sure. And unless they get the breaks of the century and they actually have something to play for against Seattle and Miami, the only thing they got going for them is that they've beaten Miami already, and they get to play them and sweep them, which is an elimination factor. Which, if you got 5 teams like tied, for like, let's say everybody's 9-8, then maybe there's a shot. Seriously, but the way this team's playing, the only way is you get Mike White back. You put him back in against Seattle. Hopefully he gives his team a jolt of positive energy, and we go from there. But we'll see, because it's not like they won with Mike White the last 2 starts anyhow. But it's the only way. It's the only way. And then hopefully, worst case scenario, beat Seattle, get that losing streak out of the way, and kind of at least start feeling a little bit better about yourselves before you go into the offseason, even if you don't make the playoffs. Thanks for sticking in with me this long. If you have, I'm surprised. We'll see you next week.